Hi Taurus, welcome to my channel. I know it's been a hot minute that I've been away. I apologize. Things have been haywire and went crazy and I couldn't possibly complete any readings or do anything that had to do with anybody's energy until I could get my energy under control. Anyway, so I'm back and this is going to be your February general love reading. Please like, share, subscribe, and all of that. Please check out the description box below if you have questions about personal readings. A note on personal readings, my schedule has changed drastically. I'm only able to read now on the weekends, so please know that if you do put in a personal reading request, if I don't complete it one weekend, it will have to wait till the following weekend. I totally get it. If that means that you don't want to order, I totally get that. And that's totally cool with me. It's just that's all I can do right now, so please understand that. Anyways, let's jump into this and see what's going on and see what comes up for you. So the first card that I have is the Fool card. I feel like there's a lot of like hopeful new beginning energy behind this for you right now. It's coming through as kind of like this leap of faith or something that is this exciting new beginning. It's kind of like there's this anticipation and excitement behind it. The next card, with the Fool card, a lot of the times that does come through is kind of like a Piscean type energy, but he's got elements of every sign there, so that literally could be any sign. The next card that we have, though, is the Four of Wands. So I feel like there is an elevation or promotion of a situation going on. It's like this leap of faith that's this kind of like jumping into something together to build this foundation, but it's a common goal. You'll see the Four of Wands here. It looks like a family. It's like the four walls of a household. So it's kind of creating a making a claim. It's kind of like staking a claim. And I feel like there's this leap of faith that takes place in this. It's kind of perhaps somebody is trying to convince you that they're serious about something that maybe you had questioned whether or not they were, but they start putting the action behind it. So maybe it's like, okay, you know, kind of let's do this energy. The next card that we have here is the Magician. So you could be dealing with a Gemini. The Magician card is, how do I put it? He's like the physical manifestation of the masculine energy. So it's kind of like he takes action, he creates things, he begins things. It's the beginning of something, but it's bringing success into a fruition here, but there is a manifestation of something. I feel like it's kind of like this leap of faith that leads to a manifestation of things starting to fall into place for some people. Perhaps that creates some controversy or some drama for some other people, though, because I feel like with this Five of Wands here, again, this Five of Wands keeps popping up for everybody this month. Why can't everybody just stop talking about everybody else? I don't understand why there has to be so much contention and drama and competition. It's just constant. It's like nobody can just fall in love and it's cool anymore. Everybody has to have something to say about it. I'm sorry. That might be some of my own frustration, but I feel like this card pops up in every single reading because everybody's in everybody's business. Anyways. So I feel like there's some very good energies happening for some people, but there's other people who are maybe not. It's a little bit fearful energy. Like they don't necessarily like what's happening to the dynamic, the group dynamic with this whole situation perhaps that's going on. Underneath the Fool card, though, we have the Queen of Swords. So again, there's a lot of air energy. Some of you are dealing with definitely like an Aquarius, a Libra, a Gemini. There's definite air, but this is a very direct. She's no bullshit. This queen, she's awesome. She's a ride or die, but she's no bullshit. She's not gonna take your bullshit. She's not gonna feed you bullshit. Like she is a ride or die type of partner, but it's a huge leap of faith because she has been hurt a lot too. So there's a lot of energy and trust that's having to happen. It's like underneath this Four of Wands, we have the Two of Swords. And I feel like somebody is constantly having to make the decision to trust this commitment or trust this path. Somebody's constantly having to reaffirm that decision to them, I feel like. Underneath this Magician is the Nine of Wands. And so I feel like this is the manifestation of something major because it's been really tough. It's been a long road, but I feel like things are starting to come into fruition here. This is a very exciting trajectory, actually, because I feel like something is coming to a physical manifestation that has been a long, hard battle to make happen. Somebody is beating the odds almost, I feel like, here. And they're very, very swift changes with this Eight of Wands right underneath this Five of Wands. Again, it's this very swift change. So it creates contention because people don't like change. Change freaks people out. So I feel like that has a lot to do with it. So let's clarify and see what comes through on it, because that makes sense to me. Please clarify this Fool card for Taurus for love for February 2018. What is this Fool card about here for Taurus? Interestingly, there's not any earth like here. Please clarify this Fool card here for Taurus for love for February. Okay. Ooh, look at that. On top of the Fool card, we have the Moon. Somebody is really deep in their intuition, though. This moon, I don't feel like... Sometimes the moon can represent confusion. It can represent hidden things. But really with it on top of this Fool, who is also in front of this giant full moon, I feel like somebody's really... Sorry, I know. I'm just, like, leaning over. There's this giant full moon behind the Fool, and then this giant full moon here, and I really feel like there's this energy of major intuition going on. I feel like this is a huge leap of faith, but it's kind of an inevitable huge leap of faith, because it's kind of like both people have to just come to accept the fact that they're supposed to do this. Like, I feel like it's that kind of energy. Like, we already know, we might as well just own up to the fact that we know at this point. Please clarify this Four of Wands here for love for Taurus. Okay. Okay, I see you. Yeah, the Hierophant on top of the Four of Wands. It's time. It's like saying it's time. Like, it's time to move this on. It's time to get going here. The Four of Wands is a high commitment card, and the Hierophant is a high commitment card, a higher institution, moving to a higher level. It's time to move things up. It's time for y'all to do this. That's what it's saying anyways. So I don't know who that's for, but that's what it's saying. It's telling you it's time for y'all to do this. It's time for you to do this. Please clarify this Magician here. Okay, so... yeah, the Knight of Swords on top of this Magician. Some of you may be dealing with a fire sign too. So there could be, you've got water, you've got fire, you've got air. I mean, Taurus, Hierophant, that Taurus, that's definitely you. That Hierophant is definitely you, Taurus. And it's on top of that Four of Wands. So I don't know if maybe you've been the indecisive one, or perhaps this other person has been the indecisive one. But this Knight of Wands on top of this Magician means that things are starting to manifest very quickly. This is happening fast. It's fast change. Things are happening fast. Please clarify this Five of Wands here for Taurus for love for February 2018. Okay. All right. I see ya. Yeah. Okay. So on top of this Five of Wands, you have the Lover's card. Again, I don't know if you're dealing with a Gemini. Some of you may be dealing with a Gemini or a Virgo. But this this Lover's card on top of the Five of Wands, again, this Knight of Swords and this Magician, again, is just saying, screw everybody else. Who cares? This is about y'all two. This is you two. And you already know this because the intuition is already there. Like, you already know this connection is there. And I feel like this starts clicking. This starts coming into physical reality here because it starts clicking for people during this time frame here. So this is very positive looking. It's very positive looking to me. Please clarify this Queen of Swords here for Taurus for love for February 2018. What is this Queen of Swords about here? Please clarify this Queen of Swords here for Taurus. Please clarify this Queen of Swords here for Taurus for love for February. Okay, so on top of the Queen of Swords, we have the Five of Swords. So there is a little bit of a contentious energy. I don't know if maybe there's a third party type situation that's been going on and somebody needs to be cut out, or somebody's advice Perhaps there's a Queen of Swords energy that is like a mature female who's trying to direct somebody or give somebody advice. Perhaps it's a mother figure, and it's interfering. It's like this Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is kind of an energy of being willing to do things at any cost. It's kind of like the ends justify the means. And this Queen of Swords here with this Five of Swords energy, that can be some very combative energy. Like somebody may be interfering, and that's where this decision comes that has to be made, to that it's going to be these two that stick together like Bonnie and Clyde here, because if somebody's trying to interfere, they can't allow that to happen. Please clarify this Two of Swords. But again, it's like somebody has to constantly make that decision on a daily basis. Please clarify this Two of Swords here for, okay. Yeah, so on top of this Two of Swords, we have the King of Swords and the Page of Cups. So some of you may be dealing with an air sign, like I said, and there could be some issues. Well, okay. Some of you may be dealing with an air sign. It could be any sign, but I do get air specifically on this, where there is kind of this discussion that comes down between the two of you that says, screw all the drama, I don't care. At any cost, we stick to our guns. We stick together to what we know. This King and Queen team up. This King and Queen of Swords team up. They stay in their logical zone so they don't get emotional. They don't react emotionally. They're only reacting with their heads. But they're sticking to this Five of Swords promise of, like, we will come out of this together at any cost. Like, no matter who we have to cut out. Because this Page of Cups right underneath that is all about this team. But it's like this Two of Swords here that's here is saying that you two daily have to make this decision together, that we're going to stick together at all costs, because it's going to be a hard, long battle here. This isn't an easy battle. I get the feeling that it has to do with a lot of familial, perhaps, interference or something along those lines where somebody's disapproving, because this is an uphill battle, but it's worth it. It's totally worth it. Please clarify this Nine of Wands here. Again, that could be parents interfering too with a relationship. Please clarify this Nine of Wands here for love for Taurus for February 2018. Or even just disapproving friends, perhaps. Please clarify this Nine of Wands. Okay, so on top of this Nine of Wands, we have this Eight of Swords. So it's almost feeling defeated and trapped, or perhaps feeling like this battle is never going to end. But it's only because you can't see the forest for the trees right now, because it is coming to an end. It's just happening in a way that's like really taxing, so you can't see it. It feels like it's going to be that way forever. But this Eight of Wands says things are changing very quickly. This happens fast, even though it feels like eternity, which is very contradictory, but that's what's coming through. So please clarify this Eight of Wands here for Taurus for love. And you know why I think it feels that way, Taurus, because you are a fixed sign that way, where it's that interferes with the regular routine of things, and that's not cool sometimes. On top of this Eight of Wands, we have this Eight of Cups. I do feel like there's a situation, again, where it calls for the two of you to kind of team up and to have to turn your back on perhaps people that matter, or situations that have mattered or that you have invested in, but they're no longer serving you, and it needs to happen quickly in order for the two of you to really truly get through this together, because I feel like there's a recognition that that's what's supposed to happen. Like, we know we're supposed to get through this. We've been perhaps putting this off, but it's time to turn our backs now. Like, this has to happen now. Somebody could be juggling a decision about whether or not to leave, like move away from where they're living, away from family. And there could be some issues about, like, some real issues regarding grandkids or things like that that could be causing some problems, but ultimately the decision has to be made. So that could be going on for some of you too. So let me know. It's pretty cut and dry that there's a lot of major change that goes on, but it feels like it drags out, or it's coming to an end after this long, huge battle. But it does end in this bittersweet feeling of like everything happens so quickly, but now it's time to walk away. So let me know what's going on with you, and I will speak with you soon.